This is not who I am, it's my circumstance. And if that's the gateway in, well, then so be it. I always told myself, if one day I would be in a position of influence of some kind, I would want to give back based on my experience. Not a chat GPT prompt, not some kind of surface level stuff, not some kind of a motivational clip off of Instagram. This is real world stuff. If you want to get the results you've never got, you got to do the things you've never done. And in order to do the things you've never done, you got to attract the people you've never had.
Welcome to Driven Loyalty, the podcast with proven strategies and expert insights tailored for automotive professionals looking to maximize retention, enhance customer experience, and drive sustainable growth. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Driven Loyalty, where I get to talk to, well, anybody and everybody I really want to talk to when it comes to driving more loyalty in your dealership. And I got a special guest with me. Actually, I'm not even going to call it a guest. I have a friend with me today, and we are going to have a lot of fun. But hey, we can't make cool content like this without our sponsors. And here's a quick message from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Podium. So here's a question for you. What would it mean for your dealership if you had one more employee who worked 24/7, never took a break, and was focused solely on turning every lead into a yes, even the after-hour ones, into test drives, a sale, and ultimately, more revenue? Well, let's meet Jerry, Podium's brand new AI BDC. Jerry is a lead conversation machine, ready to jump on every lead that comes in instantly. He can answer questions, keep those leads engaged, and even schedule test drives, all without any direct human supervision. And here's the best part. With a seamless handoff to your sales team, your customers will never even know they were interacting with an AI. If you're curious about how Podium's AI BDC can help you move more cars, check it out at podium.com/SWJ. That's for Strategy with Jason. That's podium.com/SWJ, or just hit the link in the show notes below. All right, guys, we're back. I said I have a friend. Well, I have the one, the only, the oh so famous, and definitely paid me to say this. I have Shawn Armorer with me. Shawn, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome, dude. How are you?
I'm good.
You didn't tell him I was one of the sponsors, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Totally paid you to say that. No.
You did, right? No.
And we've known each other for a long time. This is probably like 5 or 6 times now, and I'm on one of your shows.
Dude, we have, I mean, for everybody out there watching and listening, Shawn is an amazing human. I'm just going to say that right out of the gate. But not only is he an amazing human, he's also just an amazing car guy. And we, Shawn, we both know some amazing car guy and car gals out there, and it's funny how, over the years, and we even met before the pandemic, and, it's just like how people start making connections and they start getting into like little groups and stuff like that. And we've always kind of, there's been that group of, real car guys and real car gals. They hang out with each other. That's just how it is. Right.
Yep.
So me and Shawn have hung out many times. I've had some really great laughs, and we are excited to get into today's topic. So today's topic, guys, for everybody out there watching and listening, we're going to dive into inconsistent customer experience across departments. All right. Look, I started this series because there is an epidemic of people not being loyal. And I really want our industry to use the word loyalty rather than the word retention, because I despise that word. Well, we can get into that later in the episode. But let's kick this off, Shawn, real quick. For everybody out there that don't know who you are, just give them that origin story, how you started, and what you're up to right now.
Sure. Yeah. Started in 2002, washing cars. Probably like most people, dare I say 80 to 90%, got into the business by accident. Graduated in fashion marketing, left school, couldn't find work in my field at the time. So in 2002, my little brother was working at one of the larger dealer groups here in Montreal. And, I reached out to him. I was on my own, scurrying underfoot, trying to figure things out as a young, ambitious, well, not ambitious, but egocentric 20-something-year-old. And he said, yeah, listen, they're always, looking for people, but I'm telling you now, it's probably a washer. And I said, so I don't care. Like washing cars is not who I am. It's my circumstance. And if that's the gateway in, if that's the way in, well, then so be it. But obviously, it's not a career move, right? So up until that point, I pretty much have done a lot of things in my life. I was an arborist. I did a lot of, I did all kinds of jobs, as a young boy. So as a young man, I should say.
Fighter.
Yeah. Funny story, actually. I showed up to the interview for a washer job at a Toyota store, one of the largest Toyota stores here in Montreal. And I showed up in a suit and tie.
Nice.
This is going to be important for later. I showed up in a suit and tie, and the service manager is looking at me. And at one point, like I noticed it. I'm like, "Excuse me, sir. Like, speak freely. Like, is there something you want to say?" Because it was just on his mind. And he's like, "Okay, well, you do realize that this is to wash cars, not sell them, correct?" and it's awesome. His name is Eric. We actually still speak to this day about this because he's so proud of my journey, where I've come. And I told him, yeah, but listen, this is just a testament to the level of professionalism that I'm going to bring. To some people, it's washing cars, but to me, this is the gateway in. And if this is what I got to do, well, then let's do that. And what better place to start than at the ground level?
For sure, 100%.
So again, started off washing cars. It was only supposed to be 3-4 months. 23 years later, here I am.
3 years later. Like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
23 years later. Yeah, I started off washing cars. Then I went to porter, and I did every job over at Service. And I did used car. I built BDCs. I was a service advisor, service manager, et cetera, et cetera. So that went on for 18 years. I worked at the 6 largest dealer groups here in Montreal. One of them are Mercedes-Benz, largest in Canada. And every single one was an opportunity to learn the business from a different vantage point or aperture, right? Like big box stores, Glengarry, Glen Ross kind of things, more, customer-centric driven dealerships. The first one I went out, they're celebrating 110 years this year, which was amazing for me. And all along the way, I just learned my craft. I just really learned my craft. Any position I've ever had, I just dove headfirst into it and became obsessed with learning every single crucible about what makes this thing tick. Why a washer? What's so important about a washer? What's so important about a porter? What's so important about booking, service appointments that I did for 4 years?
Sure.
And then, and then at the cash, et cetera, et cetera. All this combined, had you have told me 23 years ago, I would have said you're crazy. But all of this combined led to BDC Alchemy, which I am the proud owner and founder of BDC Alchemy Inc. Essentially, I assist dealerships in architecting revenue-generating BDCs.
And I love the fact that you bring up revenue generating, because I got to be honest with you, there's a fair amount of them. They're glorified call centers, but that could be a whole podcast in itself. And Shawn, look, I'm glad, dude, you got bit by the bug. I love it. 23 years, man. I'm with you. It's just like, I can't imagine doing any other business out there. I'm sure if you're out there watching and listening right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, just once you're in, you got your member card. I got my member card. It's right here. Do you see it?
Yeah, exactly. Same
right
as me.
there. That's the member card, baby. There was a point in time where I had a long flowing locks of hair. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
This is the cost of membership.
Same here. It wasn't flowing, but it was up there. It was up there.
Can you imagine me in like some Fabio looking long hairs?
Actually, I can, Jason. I can really, actually.
See on you. I don't know about me. Okay, fine. All right. I can see it. All right, man. Let's get into this. I love this. I love this topic. I know you love this topic. We've talked about this topic many times, actually, just over some drinks and when we get together and stuff like that. It's just like, look, loyalty is made and broken. All right, by some of the littlest things in our business, and a lot of it those little things just happen to do with just how inconsistent we are, just executing the customer experience across departments. Now, our first topic today, and I'm so glad you picked this. You picked people. All right, but specifically people onboarding. And I'm like, really, man, let's get into like the core foundation of
absolutely 100%. Yeah.
Hit me with this, man. What's your thoughts? What people onboarding for everybody out there that don't know what we're talking about? Let's get started.
For sure. So listen, specifically why I chose this area is because, like I just told you, I'm speaking from experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking from failure. I'm speaking from trying things and it didn't work. And I'm also speaking from the things that did work. I'm also speaking from 23 years of just doing the thing every day. And like I was telling you in the intro, I became obsessed. So unfortunately, and again, this is my opinions, etc., but you know, it has brought me a great deal of success. So first things first, I just want to say this, like, I love the car industry. You know, it's kind of paradoxical in the sense that it's given me everything, but at the same time, it's also taken away a lot of things. Kind of like you, my hair.
Yeah.
So the reason why I'm so obsessed, especially today, I always told myself, if one day I would be in a position of influence of some kind, I would want to give back based on my experience, not a chat GPT prompt, not some kind of surface level stuff, not some kind of a motivational clip off of Instagram. This is real world stuff. And one of the areas to which I'm shocked, and I'd love to get your take on this, but I'm in dealerships across the nation.
Yep.
Texas, Montreal, all over Canada, all over the States, as well as overseas. What the interesting the interesting part, which I do understand why, however, doesn't make it right. The interesting thing that I see time and time and time and time again, specifically to the car industry, we just can't seem to get the onboarding correctly.
Sure. You mean I can't throw a set of keys at them and say, hey, there's the brochures, there's the brochure.
Yeah.
There's
like how many times
next up list.
How many times has the IT guy been setting up the desk 10 minutes before that new hire comes in?
Exactly.
Like it's mind-boggling. And I do get it though. So here's the disclaimer. I do recognize that we are governed by a month-to-month business. Right?
But should we be? I know I'm gonna find a rabbit hole here, and maybe it's another podcast. I mean, I hate that. I hate everything about that.
Well, it's the reality.
But it isn't. It is the reality that we have kept.
That we have kept, correct. Yeah. And
it is not necessary. It is not necessary.
It is not necessary. Correct.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No. And you're absolutely right. And that's why I love talking to you, because we're able to have these conversations. Please push back and challenge. But I absolutely agree with you. It's not necessary. However, it's necessary in the sense that, you know, we have a lot of people to answer to. There's the manufacturer, there's our employees, there's the customer. And I'm talking about like at the dealer principal level, which I've never been, but I mean, I've been around them and they've been my mentors, etc. So there's a lot of people to answer to. Also, when we're talking about CSI or CSC, whichever one term they use, is that, you know, every quarter there's a lot of money that's being given to dealerships if they're in the top 3. There's a lot of inventory decisions that are being made for the top sales. So that's kind of the chaos that we're navigating.
We've created this storm that requires this every 30-day start and stop. Right. Which is actually really unfortunate. Now, I know I love finding rabbit holes, and you mentioned CSI and SSI and whatever the 3-letter stupid freaking acronym out there that use to determine if someone is eventually going to be loyal or not. Here's the thing. Those are all screwed up. All right. They never ask the right questions. That is never delivered in the most accurate way. It's funny. It's like we're actually one of the only verticals in the world that still use some of these stupid ass surveys to actually figure it out, right? I know I'm finding a rabbit hole, guys, and we are going to get back to other people onboarding, I swear. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you're out there watching and listening right now, and you are responsible at that, what you need to look up is a net promoter score, right? A NPS, a net promoter score, is what every other vertical in the world uses to determine if someone's ultimately going to be loyal, right? Yeah. And they ask one question. And I love it. And there's some variations of this, but primarily it's one question, right? Would you refer us to a friend or family member? That question is so loaded. It's a yes or no. Yeah. But it is such a loaded question. All right. Anyways, because it has to do with, you know, were the people good enough that I would want to refer them to? Was their process good enough?
You're right now, everything that you're saying, Jason, is the answer. Those are the answers. So first things first. I've, if I could say it this way, I've developed, I guess, a name for myself in the sense that I don't come from opulence. I don't come from a time where there was HR and we had to watch what we said. Like back in the day, like where I came up, and the fundamentals of my core being came from my bosses that had suspenders and knee-high socks that would smash on the table and say, you do this or get the hell out of here. There was no HR, right? So I am not necessarily a person that operates. I don't celebrate mediocrity.
Sure, of course.
Right. So when I am, I don't have clients. I have partners. Now, what that means, and some people are like a little bit apprehensive or taken back when I say I architect revenue generating BDCs. I don't build them. I architect them. And the reason why I architect them is because we get our hands dirty. And I tell them, like, listen, I am not a Band-Aid solution. I am not going to come in and train your people. Let's pull this thing apart in phases of construction. And then let's really invoke sustainable business practices. And where do we start? At the onboarding.
Well, yeah, no, I and funny. I actually kind of listen to you. I love the fact that you kind of look at it from a partner perspective, right? Because, like, guys, look, this whole series is all about driving more loyalty, and I'm going to go. And I love the fact that we're talking about people onboarding, right? But really, I want to take a moment to highlight kind of what Shawn said around partner. And he's talking about his clients, but for a moment there, I'm actually going back and put myself in your guys' shoes, the dealer. All right, what you're necessarily doing when you hire someone, you are partnering with that staff member. All right. And you're not going to sit there and watch them all the time. You're hopefully you're looking for someone who's got partner type, personality traits and other stuff like that. You want to partner with them in creating loyal customers.
Correct.
So you do look for a partner, right? But hey, for like any good partnership out there, it's got to be the setup, the foundation needs to be created important. What are the things from an onboarding perspective that you see people are doing really well, and maybe some that are like, oh, bro, seriously, are we still doing that crap?
Yeah. So to keep to the integrity of optimism, let's just focus on what they should be doing. Some people are doing really good. Some people are not doing good. I don't necessarily want to pick on the people that are not doing good, because sometimes it's just they don't know what they don't know. So then them not doing good is not necessarily a choice. But then we have the flip side where it is. So what I can share with you is my approach. First thing that I do is because we discuss it, there's a discovery call, there's a plan, everything before I show up. So the first thing that I always ask with regards to improving CSC or creating loyalty, let's just call it this kind of topic. What is your turnover? Yeah. What is your churn percentage? That is the absolute first question I ever ask. And it's not to be cynical. I don't care what it is. Is it 10% or is it 47%? So the reason why that this is important is because in order to create loyalty, in order to create, dare I say, a guest experience, I'm just going to use that term for lack of a better term. In order to create a guest experience, you first need to create an employee experience. Yes. You can have all the processes you want, all the shiny bells, all AI powered everything. If your people are not happy to be there, it will never work. This is why we start from the onboarding process.
Makes sense.
So when I'm talking about the onboarding process, I'm talking about, what does your job description even look like? do you even know what we're posting? Because you're only attracting what you're putting out. So I start really at the crucibles with my partners, like, hey, listen, let's take a look at your job posting. First of all, I have 6 of them, but we can use yours and let's modify it to fit your ecosystem. But it's the job description. And to anybody listening, the crazy part is this. Are you looking to put butts in buckets, or are we really looking to make a significant impact through our people? Your job description should scare most of the people that come upon it. Because what I'm seeing, to answer your question, is we'll put out a job description and you're going to get a ton of resumes to come in. how long and what an arduous process of going through all of those people. Whereas if you creatively create a job description that has punch and really sets home specifically the kind of person, the attributes of their skill level, the soft skills, the hard skills, like, do you recognize yourself in what I just wrote?
No, dude, I love this. I mean, because I think about this, right? Like, it's funny because look, I've talked a lot of loyalty, and but you're right though. I've never really kind of thought about it. It does really come all the way down to, Look, we all know loyalty is a people, process, technology, strategy, and intentionality needs to be in that strategy. But you're 100% right. It goes down to not just the people we have, but literally the people we don't have yet.
Correct.
All the point of just like, who are we? Look, I want my people to be on the same mission as I am, right?
Yes.
So like, to your point, like if your job posting out there is not talking about your mission of creating loyalty,
yes,
creating loyal customers, well, and your job description is just simply a list of talents or things that they need to know to be able to ultimately execute, some part of it. But they need to know that whatever cog in the wheel that they are applying for, all right, the full size of the wheel is with the intent to create loyal customers. And
Yep.
you're with that. I read job titles all the time. I can tell you right now, that ain't in there, right? The job title is built around whatever, whatever element or whatever part of the business they're ultimately trying to execute on, but never really fulfills the entire major objective, right? Like, I mean, dude, to execute a good mission, everybody needs to know what the objective
from
is.
snout to tail, my friend, from snout to tail. And this is, and we'll get into this. We'll go as deep down as you want. So, but to your point, so the first thing, job description, and it really gets that granular. So to stop the hemorrhaging that's going on, okay, currently right now it's hemorrhaging. How do you stop it on the forefront? Okay, so or the pre-front, say job description, and there's a number of different elements. I won't sit on that too long, but there's a number of elements that need to be comprised of, like, first of all, what kind of person are we looking for, and when we're hiring them, what problem are we looking to solve?
Yes.
What attributes does this person need? Or are we just looking to fill up a position? That's number one with the pre-stuff. With the current stuff, you just said it yourself. What's the vision?
Yeah.
Where are we going? Because without vision, your current people, they're not inspired.
No.
They're not looking towards anything. They don't feel safe. There's no psychological safety. Like, well, where are we going?
Exactly.
Right?
They have to know that job title and that job description is a part of a much bigger effort and plan, right?
Yep. Yeah. And to extend on that, like, if you want to get the results you've never got, you got to do the things you've never done. And in order to do the things you've never done, you got to attract the people you've never had.
You're right.
Because, well, I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
What you're currently doing is giving you what you currently have. I mean, let's call it spade a spade. Are you not happy with where you are? Fine. What is the level of unhappiness? Is it a 2 on 10? Is it a 9 on 10? Regardless. But what you're currently doing is giving you what you currently have. So if you want to do something different, if you want to move the needle, if you want to move the vector, well, then we got to do different stuff. And so we have the job description. We have the vision, et cetera, inspiration, et cetera. One of the most important things that I do when I'm working with my partners is to understand what is going to move the dial. When we solve problems at the results level, and I'm going back to how we started this conversation, we live on a month to month, we operate on a month to month cycle. I get it. Fine. Fortune 500 companies have the benefit of being in quarters. Q1, we're screwing up. We'll make up for it in Q2. I get it. We don't have that luxury. Fine. But we know that. So why does it have to be a handicap? Why does it have to be a negative? We know that it's month to month. So that means the speed at which we do business matters. So now when it's so, how can I say this? Delicate.
Yes.
When we solve problems at the results level, it's momentary. Okay, you had a good month, you had a bad month, good month, bad month, good month, bad month. There's a lot of volatility. Fine. Sure. That will make anybody crazy. I fundamentally believe, and I inject this into all my my partners that I work with. I fundamentally believe that to make a significant impact, we need to attack any problem, for that matter, at the systems level. What systems do we have in place with regards to interdepartment communication?
No,
You know,
I'm,
like,
I'm,
where are we dropping the ball?
Yeah, I'm following with this. And now you might use the word systems, and I understand. I probably use the word process, but it's the same thing.
Sure,
It's
sure.
whatever processes are getting put in place, to
Yes.
put this on. I mean, now I will say for anybody out there that is still operating, because I despise the 30-day, and I will try to convince everybody in the world out there to absolutely. You will never. You look. You don't let somebody step up. There's a reason why we get 3 strikes, we're out. All right. You don't step up to the plate one time and get one shot, and then that's it, right? There's a reason why the rest of the world looks at 90 days. Now I happen to find out I prefer a rolling 90 day, right? Because that entire rolling 90 day does include your 3 swings at success, right? Each month, 3 months, you got 3 months to swing at it right there. So if you're out there watching this right now and you're still operating on a 30 day, I still think you're doing a disservice to your people. Because even in professional sports, we give them 3 chances. And then we base their results and their efforts and their performance off of those at least 3 attempts. But the fact that we have 1 attempt and that's the other crap part. You have a good month, right? You're only measured by what? The last month you had. So like if you had 2 great months, you got 1 bad month, all of a sudden you're the bottom of the barrel. Anyways, I digress. I want to go back to your process because I'm with you. Systems is everything, right?
Yes.
Another thing that ultimately affects the experience, and bad experiences definitely affect loyalty, is just a piss poor, ridiculous handoff. Too often as operators, you guys are managing your business in silos. No one should ever be managing. Just because it's siloed on your P&L doesn't mean that you need to culturally silo.
That's
all
a
right,
good point.
your
That's
business.
a great point.
Let's get into kind of. I love this idea of a flow chart to assist with this because I think it's a great process. Walk me down through, what that communication flow chart looks and how that helps the process of handoff, which ultimately just creates a better experience for everyone.
Yeah. Well, those that know me and those that I've dealt with, and a lot of dealers. So I had the luxury coming up based on my story of I came up, my first 11 years was in the service. Then the advent of digital retailing came in, and then we started selling cars online, right? So I was kind of part of that process. But for the first 11 years, what I saw was chaos.
Sure.
And I don't mean to be, vindictive or adversarial.
Let's
call it spade a spade. Chaos. Let me explain. I was led to believe, which I still believe today, which I've incorporated into my business methodology and structure. That's why it works. Everybody gets invited to the table. There's no silos, right? Mm-hmm. So I was always my fundamentals are sales makes customers and service keeps them.
Yes.
You're spending all of these marketing dollars on the front line, on the front end to attract, I'm not a marketer by any, there's GA4, there's all kinds of, your third parties, all the leads that are coming in, millions of dollars are spent basically, right? We get these customers in, and it kind of feels to me like it's more transactional as opposed to a relationship building. So we sell them the car, and then where does everything fall apart? The minute they drive off the lot. Right. So there's a disconnect between the sales and service to me that's been there for the last 23 years.
Yes, 100%.
Right. So what I do when I'm architecting, when we're looking at this from a different lens, we need to back up and then look at it. Okay, first things first, segment your departments.
Yes.
Segment your departments before creating this flow chart that I'm talking about. You got to segment it. Parts is a department, service is a department, lease end is a department, sales is a department, BDC is a department, et cetera, et cetera. Segment your departments. That's the first things first. Then within your department, you know how you have a road to sale?
Yep.
There should be a road to the appointment.
Of course, 100%.
Right? So find the road to the thing in each one of these segments. Once you're in these segments, and again, we're talking about flow charts, right? Once you're in these segments, that's where you get really, really surgical and pull them apart. I will explain.
And that's where better experiences are created.
Well, it's critical because when we're talking about, let me ask you a question, Jason. You've owned and operated a dealership, and you've been in and out of dealerships for over 2 decades.
Yep.
Let's talk about, and I'm going to put you on the spot. Let's talk about service appointment. Jason books an appointment. He's a guest. Jason books an appointment and shows up at the dealer, correct?
Yes.
I have really surgically pulled this apart, but I just want to see, I want to get your guess on it. How many touch points are there per person per appointment at service? How many touch points? How many different people do you feel are touching that person, that experience?
Yeah, at least 4 or 5, right?
Because there's 8. There's 8.
I was going to say, and look, and if there's 8, it's, here's the thing, and I'd love to get your thoughts. It's not necessarily how, and I do believe there's opportunity to streamline. I'm 100% streamline. But to your point, kind of like the handoff, if the handoff isn't smooth, the customer feels it, right? Look, we see this more often in the sales side, maybe than we sometimes do on the service side, right? Like, customer says, yes, I want to purchase it. What do we say? Slow down. Whoa, hold on. What did you just say?
Yeah.
Oh shit, let me go get some paperwork.
Yeah.
Gotta go let 3 or 4 other people know.
Yeah.
You're gonna need wait about at least 30 minutes to talk to a whole nother person, even though me and you've been talking the last 3 and 4 hours, right? I gotta get my manager over here. They're gonna have to get some, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
an arduous process.
The handoff is so obvious. So when handoffs are really bad, what they do is they create operational mountains and valleys.
Correct.
Right? And nobody wants to go through a mountain and valley on a service side or on a sell side or anything like that. Like, we want a clean, linear process. I know everyone loves to go Amazon. It's about Amazon. But look, let's just break down what the hell does Amazon actually have? A clean, linear process.
Lovely.
I don't care the fact that if our process has got 13 more steps or is involved with 9 other people.
Yep.
The customer doesn't need to feel that. That's the objective. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
No. But to your point, like, dude, this is all valid what you're saying, Jason. The answers are coming out of your mouth right now, man. And I'm sorry, I get so passionate because I literally build this with my partners to success. And this is not to boast, but they're like, Shawn, like on day 1, it's always the same. You better know what you're doing. And by month 6, 7, they're like, this is phenomenal. Why? It's documented.
Oh, yeah, a huge big part.
It's surgical.
Yes.
I create SOPs or standard operating processes for each touch point. Let me give you an example. We'll talk about service because I know we're pressed for time. Let's just talk about service.
Sure.
You said 4. I said 8. Let's run through those 8. I walk in somewhere and XYZ Motors says, hey, listen, we're having bad CSI. Okay, great. What are the combustion points? Oh, well, our customers are not happy. I know that's what bad CSI means, but where can you clearly articulate to me, where's the hemorrhaging coming from?
Yep.
Well, we think. That's where I just stopped them. I don't deal with think. So why not think? We need to know. So the question is, what problem are we trying to fix? Because when I go in and they're like, well, where's the combustion point? What's wrong? What's going on? And they're like, well, it's all not working. Well, all is a lot of stuff. Like, you obviously have successful areas of the business. Let's touch them down. So I call them touch points. That's what I mean by a flow, a touch point. So I'll give you a rough example. I'll give you a rough example of what we spoke about. I created something called the customer service cycle. What happens with every single customer that has come for service? Each one. So if you have 75 to 100 appointments a day, this process needs to be replicated 100 times.
Yes.
Times 5 days, times 28 open days. So thousands. We're talking about thousands. So number 1, customer, what's the first thing that we do? We call. You call to make an appointment. Let's just say you're using the phone, a text, whatever. There's that first form of communication. You have to pull that down. What does your phone system look like? What do the ring queues look like? Are you tracking missed calls? Who's missing calls? What are the peak hours, et cetera, et cetera? Or do we have adequate staffing levels for all the amount of calls that are coming in, et cetera, et cetera? So the first point of contact, touch point, is the customer call. The next point of contact is now they're connected to the department.
Yep.
Have you ever called? This is it's a joke in the industry, but it is true. But
sometimes just getting connected to
getting connected. Like I'm calling to know if my car is ready, and now all of a sudden I get transferred to a voicemail.
Which by the way is actually like that's actually a perfect segue kind of into, because I know we're getting towards the end of our time, because
it's okay.
But it's actually a perfect segue kind of into the technology aspect of it. Because like we said, the way we answer inconsistent customer experience across departments, then we know inconsistent customer experience hurt your loyalty in a big way. You know that, right? Like a consistent experience is going to create good loyalty. An inconsistent will just destroy it. Okay. We've talked a little bit about the people, and just from the core element of it, you just have to onboard them correctly, right? We talked a little bit about the system, the process. All right. Correct. How we actually hand these people off. We don't want to create these mountain valleys like our operations do.
Seamless.
It's right. It needs to be seamless. It needs to be linear. It needs to be linear. Not Amazon, but linear, right?
Correct.
And then now lastly, and I'm glad you brought this up, is just like is now I'm dealing with the technology of it.
Yeah.
Right? Now there's a piece of technology that I have to deal with. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but let's go ahead. Let's get into the technology.
Well, the tech is super interesting because the way I do things, it's all meshed together. This is why it's people, process, and technology. And I love that you've coined that, or you've been using that, because I've been saying that for 4 years. You cannot have one without the other. No, it literally takes all three to make something work.
Yes.
So now when we're getting into the technology part, when I was just talking about those 8 service touch points, literally 8, and inside of each 8, which piece of technology is doing what? So it's not, hey, let's just put this fancy machine here and it's just going to do it, or let's put this online scheduler and it's just going to magically, book appointments. Like, okay, hold on for a second. Like, who's auditing this thing? Are you periodically checking? Did you try and make your own appointments on your own website?
Yes.
For the people, go ahead.
Did you try to have a conversation with your own staff?
Yeah, with the bot, with the staff,
the phone calls. Like
with the phone calls.
I think dealers would be surprised because who calls into their own business?
No one does. Right?
Just if you're out there watching, listening, if you didn't get anything from this episode anywhere from you just got one thing out of it.
Call your dealer.
I just want you to call your business. That's it. Sorry. Go
ahead. Do your own mystery shop. like you just asked the question, who calls it? Clearly nobody, if there's literally mystery shop companies out there that will do it for you.
It wouldn't exist if we were doing it ourselves.
Right. And again, to any mystery shop company out there, you guys are doing awesome. I love you. You're very necessary. However, just saying, like, call your own. Like, the answer is just that simple. Yet we wait for the survey at the end of the month where we get pummeled, and then we start complaining about, oh, this question, the weights are too much, and this question counted. Would you recommend us to your friend? This is lopsided. I get it, Jason. I get it. I hear it all the time. Everybody's complaining. I don't care. I don't care. Why? Because it's irrelevant. Pick up the phone on a weekend and call your dealer. You will get all the answers you need.
Well, because you're right, 100%. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to go through your people. So you're going to do a little people check, right?
Yes.
You're going to experience the process or the system that that's funny. I'll say process. You say it's the same thing. Right? It's a series of efforts that are required to get something done. All right. And then lastly, you're going to engage at some point with the own technology that you ultimately bought into, right? Look, if all three of these things are not in sync with each other, right? Dude, there you go. You're gonna make an inconsistent customer experience. Look, I know we're at the tail end of our time today, and I feel like when me and you jammed it, we could go. You got to give us at least an hour and a half, right? 30, 40 minutes, man. That's tough, but we can do it. We did it. But hey, for everybody out there watching, listening, what you hear me and Shawn are saying is that this requires intentionality.
Yes.
This look, a good experience that ultimately creates loyal customers doesn't just happen because you got lucky. Right? Like, honestly, guys, that good month didn't happen because you got lucky. All right. You executed shit correctly. All right. Your people, your process, your tech, it was all kind of in sync with each other, jiving and jamming together, just working and right. And it's like that big those cogs and those wheels were all doing their thing, right? When you're not, you're not. All right. Hey, Shawn, before I let you go, though, for everybody out there watching and listening, kind of last thoughts on just how anybody out there who's listening and watching right now can, solve this inconsistent customer experience across the departments.
Yeah, I'll give you a couple real quick. I'll give you one for sales, I'll give you one for service, and I'll just give you a general one. The generality, first things first. Calm down. We have the problem. Fine. You have to be strategically patient, but with a high degree of urgency. Right? That's number one. Number two, you have to map out, like I was saying, call them touch points, call it a flow chart, but you don't know where the combustion points are if you're not illustrating what is happening step by step. Where do I put technology in, and where do I put a human in, and where do I put both? You don't know if you don't illustrate that. So from a sales perspective, this is I'm going into the magic bag here. I'm giving some of my secret sauce, all right? From a sales perspective, what I do all the time, go on your sales floor and you want to start to create a guest experience. You want to start to create a good cross-department communication or operational efficiency, let's call it. Ask your salespeople, give me what are 3 reasons to buy from us? What are 3 reasons to buy our product? And what are 3 wows about this organization? Have we won a President's Choice Award 2 years in a row? Are we involved in the community? Are we donating to Meals on Wheels? Have we bought lunch for in elementary school? So I call it the 3-3-3 technique. 3 reasons to buy from us, 3 reasons to buy your product, and 3 wows. If they don't know that, that's where you need to start. That's what I mean by an employee experience. If they're not proud of where they're working, I'm sorry, but that's somebody's fault.
You're never going to make loyal customers from that at all.
Correct.
I mean, it won't happen. If you don't have those people, all right, that have their heart in it, you can tell the difference. You know the difference, right?
Yep.
I know if everybody out there watching, let's say you're loyal. You're loyal to something. You're loyal to some type of product or service or company right now, right? And there's a real reason for that. And if you think about it, don't be surprised that it comes down to the 3 big things that we talked about today. It's the people, the process, and the technology, or a combination of all 3 possibly. It just depends, right? Look, hey, Shawn, I know that there's still some conversation that needs to be had around what we discussed today. For anybody out there who would love to connect with you, maybe continue some of these conversations, what's the best way to do so?
Yep, you could reach out. First of all, visit my website, bdcalchemy.com. My services are there. The contact information is there. My my email is Shawn@bdcalchemy.com. And of course, I live and breathe on LinkedIn. So connect with me on LinkedIn. I would love to have the conversation. And like I tell everybody, I am an 18-year under the roof car guy that became a vendor. Yes. So I am here to help before any kind of monies. I want you guys to win.
Yes,
that's it. I just want people to win. Let's have the conversation. Let's do an audit. Let's do a discovery. Worst case scenario, I give you a paper. Here's the map on how to do it. Best case scenario, we work together and we create a guest experience.
There we go. I love it. Hey, really appreciate everyone watching and listening today. It means a lot to us. If you ever kind of want to give us a big thank you or a high five, one of the biggest ways you can thank us as content creators is to share the show. It means a lot to us when you guys share the show. It's kind of think of it's our little candy for doing a good job. Okay. So if you got an owner, if you got a manager, you got a colleague or a friend that needs to see some part of today's conversation, share the show. It means a lot to us. Shawn, thank you so much, man, for taking the time to jam with me. It's always fun when I get to hang with my friends.
Thanks,
so
Jay.
Everyone out there, thank you guys, and have yourself an amazing day.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks for tuning in to the Driven Loyalty Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Happy podcasting.